My name is Brigadier General Charlse Kisembo, Doctor. For those that don't know me, but I'm sure you all know me. Currently, I'm working as the Director, National Leadership Institute, Jankwanzi. I want to talk about myself. I joined the Army, the National Resistance Army, in 1985. I was a young man then, that time, and an undergraduate at Makerere University. I really never had any slightest idea of joining the Army. I hated the Army personally because I grew seeing what the previous armies were doing, especially Idi Amin's army, very brutal, coercive, state terror. So I really hated the Army. But that is the question everybody asks, how I found my way in the Army. And I think I will talk about it briefly. I do recall in 1979 when the Tanzanians invaded Uganda. Some of us were younger people. By that time I was a teacher. I was teaching in a primary. And because of the nature of politics that we had experienced in this country, politics of tribes, politics of religion, sectarianism, and state-inspired violence. So some of us wanted a new brand of politics, especially after Amin was removed from power. And when Yoweri Museveni then formed the Uganda Patriotic Movement, we thought that was the party that would change Uganda's political trajectory. And so we became activists in UPM because we wanted clean leadership, we wanted unity, we wanted to see the end to sectarianism and all that kind of politics. So my decision to join the National Resistance Army in 1985 was not a result of a single event. It was a result of the many events that characterized Uganda's political history. But what sparked the decision in 1985 was when the UNLA soldiers invaded Makerere University. They invaded Makerere University and attacked Africa Hall. They raped some of the girls, beat the others up, and of course forced some of the girls to jump from second floor, breaking their limbs, and others finally ended in Mulago. So as the girls were being beaten, they were calling upon us. Northcote Hall, where I was closer to Africa Hall. So they were calling us, Northcote, come and help us. We were so helpless. We didn't have guns, and so there's nothing we could do. So I remember 17 of us ran through the small gate, the eastern gate, and went on Makerere Primary School Hill. So we sat and compared notes. And we said, really, what do we go to do to Makerere? We found there was nothing that we could go to do there in such a situation. And previously, we had lost some of our colleagues. In Northcote, we lost one called Mugisha. They came and picked him, and then after a few days, his body was found in Mavira Forest. So we found it was unsafe for us to remain in the corridors of Makerere University. So we went and joined the NRA. We were 17, I do remember. But when we returned in 1986, after the collapse of the Obote regime, we were 11. The 6 did not come back. And I recall, those I can remember now who are alive, there is a Lieutenant General James Mujira. There is a Brigadier General Karemire Richard. Then there is Kairu Deus, left the army, but he's still alive. And then there is a Colonel retired, Bainomjisha Sam. Those I can remember, but others, of course, are not with us. So that is how we found our way in the National Resistance Army, which is now, of course, Uganda People's Defense Forces. I have served the military institution for 39 years, and I have learned a lot. I have acquired a lot of experience, immense experience, in my 39 years of service. I don't regret serving the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the mighty UPDF. And I think anyone would be interested in knowing why the UPDF is the longest serving military institution in the history of Uganda. I think serious scholars or students of military history should be interested in studying and finding out what has made the UPDF what it is, what values do we pick from the UPDF, what ethos do we pick from the UPDF, why is it the longest serving military institution in the history of Uganda. My experience in the UPDF has been a very interesting experience. And I had no slight idea about what I would expect when I joined the National Resistance Army. And of course, you know the pomp that goes with undergraduates. When we joined the NRA, we thought they would just welcome us with open hands, and we found young boys who were not really educated. You know, they had modest education. Most of these were peasants from Luwero. So they just looked at us as intellectuals. We were in university, T-shirts, and so they drilled us, and that's not what we expected. We thought they would say, you are welcome to the NRA, but that didn't happen. So they ordered us to form watatu and started marching, and nyuma geuka, kulia geuka. It was a very interesting experience. And after this, sat us under a tree and took us through political education, into their political education. The first question was why we had left the university to join the National Resistance Army. It meant that really ideologically we were bankrupt. We were ideologically bankrupt. And these boys said, for example, they asked us a question that Rangaranga and Wakasisi were said to have committed crimes, killed people that were they from the north, and of course we couldn't answer. So we sat down and accepted our political bankruptcy. We accepted to learn, and indeed we learned. We realized that we didn't know. And so the 39 years of service in the UPDF has made me who I am. I joined the NRA as an undergraduate. The Army provided me an opportunity for further education. After graduating my first degree, I got a master's. I also registered for a master's degree. I was the best in the history department, and I was given a master's program before I even graduated my first degree. And the Army has trained me. I was able to get another master's in Defense Studies, King's College London. I have had a lot of training in military-related areas. I've done company commander course in Tanzania. I've done advanced command course in the UK. I've done many strategic leaders courses in the US, DDR, demobilization and integration courses in Rwanda, counter-terrorism courses in Ethiopia. I have trained in Libya, trained in Cuba. So the UPDF has provided me an ample chance for me to move across the globe, to learn, to study. And I'm so proud that I'm associated with the UPDF. And I am what it is because of the UPDF. The UPDF called me professor, and I think calling me professor when I was a sergeant provided me, gave me it acted as a catalyst for me to venture into the academic world, because I didn't know that people were seeing that perhaps in me there was something unique, and therefore I really needed to bring it out. So when I proposed it to a colleague that I wanted to do a PhD, he laughed. He said that I was being overly ambitious, that I didn't need to do a PhD at my age. But I don't regret doing a PhD. Even as I retire now, my PhD is being paid for. So it has increased on my earning, and I'm really very happy, and I want to inspire others remaining that given opportunity, people should really study. That is what I can say at an individual level. UPDF, all the children I produced them in the UPDF. Most of the children actually in the UPDF. So that's the only place they know. And for me, UPDF, that's my home. That's why I find comfort. That's why I have friends. Because you know the nature of our work, you're always engaged. Your work space is always within that. So your friends that are closer to you, those you relate with, you interact with, are in the security agencies, UPDF, SO, ISO. And so that is our home. So I'm retiring, yes, but I feel I'm losing something. I'm losing that friendship, that level of interaction. You know, I'm getting out of the house where I have grown and been nurtured. But I know it's not over. Even as we go out, we shall remain linked to our family, because we are not the code that binds us together. That denominator still remains as a member of the same family. I want to thank the UPDF. First of all, I want to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda and Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, for his wise leadership and dedication to the service of our country, Uganda, and for being the key driver for the building and nurturing of the mighty UPDF. We are so thankful to His Excellency, because UPDF is an army that is looked at as an army for good because of its contribution, not only to national security, national stability and peace, but also in terms of providing security and peace outside Uganda. UPDF has worked in other parts of the country. In Somalia, you know very well. The very day we entered Somalia, there were all voices that UPDF would be swept into the Indian Ocean. But I'm telling you, UPDF is still in Somalia, and it has done a very important role in terms of enhancing defense diplomacy, contributing to Somalia's socio-economic transformation by constructing infrastructure, roads, rehabilitating dilapidated structures, enhancing civil-military relations with the people there. So Somalia has something to smile about. You know, our doctors have been treating civilians there. So UPDF has really achieved in that regard. We have played a role in Southern Sudan, a role in stabilizing Southern Sudan. You are all aware recently that South Sudan was almost at the brink of collapse when these factions engaged in violent confrontations. The UPDF intervened and helped stabilize the situation. And we can see there is hope. There is hope in Southern Sudan. So UPDF has played a very important role there. In Burundi, in Rwanda, we have a hand in the creation, in the dismantling of apartheid in South Africa, because we helped train African National Congress. So you can see the extent of our involvement, not on a bad note, but on a good note. And that has been all as a result of the wise leadership and the strategic vision of the Commander-in-Chief. I'm also grateful to the UPDF leadership that gave me an opportunity to serve, to mentor, to guide me. On my own, I think I wouldn't be who I am now. I am who I am, I think, because of the leadership of the UPDF that showed us a direction, that were patient with us to build us, to make us who we are today. And to know that, yes, self-perfection, individual good is a result of hard work. It's a result of sacrifice. It's a result of commitment. It's a result of do's and don'ts. And the army provides that. So that's why some of us have, in terms of discipline, we have remained really in that direction. So I'm so thankful to the UPDF leadership. We're about to retire. I'm so delighted, and I must say that on behalf of my colleagues with whom I'm retiring, I'm so excited. I thank the UPDF leadership for providing us that opportunity, that when you serve and reach a certain time, you retire. It's natural. I remember 1986, we were young men, energetic, running around, making 100 push-ups, but now, age coming in, you only admire younger people when you see them doing what you are doing those many years ago. And for us, we also knew, because we never saw previous armies retiring. When you come in our place there, you cannot see a house that belonged to so-and-so who served in the previous armies. So armies would come, governments would be swept, and then these other departments, the agencies, the government arms would also follow suit. So, but now in the UPDF, it's a different story. If you want to retire, you retire. There is even voluntary retirement. But for me, retiring after 39 years of service is an immense success, and I'm so grateful to God and the entire UPDF leadership. And this is something that I don't take for granted. I know I lost many of our colleagues who never had an opportunity to reach such a day like some of us have reached, to retire from the army honorably. And I would encourage those remaining to start looking at their retirement now. You don't have to look at your retirement to be serious, especially on the day when you are being told that you are retiring. So they should begin thinking about their retirement now, so that when you retire, you are mentally and psychologically prepared. I've seen cases where people have been told to retire and they have really taken it in bad faith. It's a good thing for us to do so that we can go and take this immense experience we have gained from the military to go and serve our people in other capacities. And for me, with this knowledge I have acquired, there are very, very many options at the table. First, I want to go and contest the Kivale County parliamentary seat, 2026, by His grace. You will meet me in another capacity. And I'm so hopeful that this time we shall make it, because the people appreciate us, they appreciate our experience, they appreciate our knowledge, and they are very sure that we shall deliver. To be who we are leaving this military institution, this mighty UPDF as generals. This is an immense achievement. And this achievement has not come just by the way. We have labored and worked for it. We labored and worked for it, commitment, dedication, patriotic, and that's why we have been able to move up in these ranks. So those who are still out there, who are young in service, and those who desire also to serve, must embrace values that will help them excel. First and foremost, love your country. Be a patriot. Love your country. Have the discipline for leadership. Have the discipline for leadership. And do your work diligently. Put in your best. Don't work because you are being paid a salary. Work because it is an obligation for you to work for your institution, to work for your country. Don't worry about ranks. I was a sergeant for 8 years, and I never knew that I would be a general. I was a captain for 7 years, but that did not come in my way. I worked because I knew I had been called to serve. I didn't join the NRA or UPDF to look for a job. I just found myself where I am because of the hard work and commitment. So continue working. Don't look at the ranks. look at what you are able to deliver, aim at excellence, and put in your best. All these things you will achieve. The civilians do not fear us. I have, in many instances, civilians, I have had civilians say, better meet a UPDF soldier than meeting a police soldier. What does that mean? UPDF is a pro-people army. We were withdrawn from the public, and we are going back to the public. We are not going back as enemies. We are going back to where we belong. We belong to our homes. So we are going to join our sisters, our brothers, our neighbors, our relatives. So in the first place, why should they fear us? And all these years we have been serving, we have not been detached from them. We are there. We have homes there. That is where we are going to stay. Actually, they are very happy. That's why some of them have been enticing me into joining politics. Come and stand, come and stand. It's because if it was not that they consider me their own, they wouldn't be calling me upon to go and join the politics. And that's the message I want to give to my people out there, that let them take advantage of us. We are going amongst them with wide knowledge, with experience, how government works, and therefore we want to use this knowledge to contribute to our society's socio-economic transformation so that they can live better lives and be better Ugandans.